Robert's Rebellion is one of the most fascinating periods during A Song of Ice and Fire Game of Thrones, and I get so many questions about it all the time. So today's video, I'm going to run through a timeline of the events. So this is Westeros. We're going to start right here at Harrenhal. This is where a tourney was being held, a great fabulous tourney. This is where Rhaegar Targaryen wins and names Lyanna Stark Queen of Love and Beauty, passing by his own wife Elia Martell in the process. After the tourney, there was meant to be a wedding between Catelyn Tully and Brandon Stark, the heir to Winterfell, Ned Stark's older brother. But that doesn't happen. Sometime after this tourney, when Brandon is on his way to Riverrun to marry Cat, he hears word that his sister Lyanna has been taken by Prince Rhaegar. Now, whether she was taken or whether she went willingly, that's still up for debate. So Brandon goes all the way to King's Landing. He wants to have it out with Rhaegar and ask, where is my sister? But Rhaegar is not there. The Mad King is though, and he is not happy and does not appreciate what Brandon has to say. So he has Brandon and his men seized. Lord Rickard Stark of Winterfell hears about this and he travels to King's Landing to have it out and get his son back. He's like, hand him over. That doesn't go down well with the Mad King, and he takes out both Brandon and Rickard Stark. And he orders Jon Arryn of the Vale to send him the heads of Ned Stark and Robert Baratheon. Jon Arryn refuses, and this is when he calls the banners in rebellion to House Targaryen. This is when the rebellion begins in earnest. The first battle is right here at Gulltown, because not everyone in the Vale agreed with Jon Arryn, so there was some opposition. But the rebels do prevail in the end. Then we get some battles in this region, the Stormlands. I mean, this is Robert's home patch. But then they suffer a defeat over in the Reach. So the rebels go from the Reach and retreat back to the Riverlands. Robert Baratheon is injured and he goes into hiding to recover. A battle known as the Battle of the Bells unfolds, and the Crown comes this close to finding and capturing Robert. If that had happened, Robert was in no fit state to fight. It would have been over. Total game changer. But the people of Stony Sept in the Riverlands, they hate Robert Baratheon, and the Battle of the Bells actually proves to be a victory for the rebels. Now, it's around this time that in King's Landing, Aerys the Mad King starts to accrue these caches of wildfire. He's really setting his plan in motion. If everything fails during this rebellion, if the walls really do close in, this is going to be his backup plan. In the middle of all this, there is a wedding at Riverrun, seat of House Tully. Getting married is Ned Stark to Catelyn Tully and Jon Arryn to Lysa Tully. It's a double wedding. Then we get the Battle of the Trident, where Robert Baratheon defeats Rhaegar Targaryen. By now, the writing's on the wall. Over in the west, the Greyjoys and the Lannisters, they haven't really been involved much. And they decide, we better make a move now to curry favour with the rebels who are going to be the winners, it seems. The Greyjoys, they come down and attack the Reach at the Battle of the Mander. And Tywin Lannister's men, they race across the country to King's Landing. This is where Grand Maester Pycelle convinces Aerys the Mad King to open the gates to the city. The Lannisters surge in and they sack King's Landing. Elia Martell and her children, they are discovered hiding in Maegor's Holdfast. Jaime is ordered by the Mad King to bring him Tywin's head, but he doesn't do that. Instead, he takes out the Pyromancer and then the Mad King himself. By this point, Ned Stark has arrived and he sees just chaos everywhere. Soon after, Robert Baratheon comes to King's Landing to claim his throne. And Ned Stark, he travels south to Dorne to deal with the last remaining skirmishes. Storm's End, Robert's ancestral seat, that had been under siege by Mace Tyrell, who was in support of the crown. But he is forced to bend the knee and the siege of Storm's End comes to a close. Ned Stark travels to Dorne to the Tower of Joy. He is accompanied by Howland Reed and several other men. When they get there, they see 3 Kingsguards guarding the tower: Sir Arthur Dayne, Sir Oswell Wend, and Lord Commander Gerald Hightower. Only Ned Stark and Howland Reed survive this fight. Inside the Tower of Joy, Ned finds Lyanna and she is dying. Ned's memories of this are deliberately vague for us readers. We do not get a specific mention that Lyanna had just given birth, but she did make Ned promise her something. After this, Ned Stark goes to Starfall, the seat of House Dayne, and he gives Ashara Dayne her brother Sir Arthur Dayne's sword, Dawn. He returns it to the family. Not long after Ned's visit, Ashara Dane throws herself from a tower at Starfall, but her remains are never found, and that has left a lot of people scratching their heads. What happened there? What went down? While all this is going on, over here at Dragonstone, Stannis Baratheon is laying siege to the island. He's rallied this brand new royal fleet and he wants to root out the last Targaryens, which are Viserys and Daenerys. Daenerys has just been born. Queen Rhaella has just died giving birth to her. So Daenerys and Viserys, they flee to Essos and Stannis arrives and he takes Dragonstone. Around this time, Catelyn Tully, now Catelyn Stark, she's just given birth to a son, Robb, at Riverrun. Ned has travelled from Dorne all the way to Winterfell, and when Catelyn arrives with Robb, she finds Ned is already there and he has a baby, Jon Snow. Down in King's Landing, Robert Baratheon is the brand new king and he marries Cersei Lannister in a huge ceremony at the Great Sept of Baelor. It was this marriage that brought this entire chapter to an end. It signalled the start of a new era, the Baratheon dynasty.